Assessment drives learning, but are our assessments truly meaningful? Traditional evaluations often suffer from subjectivity, time delays, one-size-fits-all design. And let's not forget the burden on educators grading hundreds of papers, crafting quizzes, analyzing results. Traditional evaluations often suffer from subjectivity, time delays, one-size-fits-all design. And let's not forget the burden on educators grading hundreds of papers, crafting quizzes, analyzing results. But now AI offers a shift, from measuring what students remember to evaluating how they learn and grow. In today's episode, we'll unpack how AI assesses smarter and faster, how feedback becomes instant and actionable, and what to watch out for in this new age of intelligent evaluation. Traditional assessments have been around for ages, relying heavily on paper-based tests. These often involve subjective grading, which can vary from one grader to another. The feedback loops are usually long, meaning students have to wait a while to know how they did. And most importantly, they focus a lot on memorization. Now let's talk about AI-based assessments. These offer instant auto-grading, making the process much quicker. They're objective and scalable, ensuring consistency. Personalized testing paths cater to individual student needs, and the emphasis shifts from rote memorization to skills and understanding. Let's take a real-world example. Imagine a school using AI quiz platforms like VIECCE. With AI insights, they experience a 60% faster grading cycle and notice better student engagement. AI doesn't just test students, it learns how they learn. Formative assessments are those ongoing checks during the learning process. With AI, every click, every pause, and every wrong answer feeds the algorithm. The system then adapts and suggests what to revise. Teachers get real-time dashboards that show class progress. For example, an AI tool might notice a child struggling with division. It could recommend a video tutorial, followed by a question at an easier level, and even send an alert to the teacher. This leads to immediate intervention, continuous improvement, and better retention. AI transforms assessment from a one-time event to a daily learning companion. Summative assessments, like midterms, finals, and board exams, are now getting AI-driven. How? Well, AI grades multiple-choice questions and short answers instantly. It also scores essays using natural language processing. Patterns are analyzed across regions and cohorts. For example, tools like Turnitin and GradeScope can grade math steps, diagrams, and essays using AI. The results? Faster feedback to students, reduced teacher workload, and increased consistency in scoring. But there's a caveat: always review AI-graded content, especially essays and creative work. Feedback is the engine of learning. AI tools now offer personalized feedback based on errors, suggest next steps in learning, and even deliver motivational prompts like, "You've improved 15% this week." Tools like Conmigo by Khan Academy explain mistakes in a conversational style, and Socratic by Google guides students step-by-step with hints. The benefits? Instant understanding, increased motivation, and teachers can focus on coaching instead of correcting. AI lets feedback be fast, focused, and friendly. Adaptive tests change based on the student's performance in real time. For example, if a student answers 3 questions correctly, the next question is harder. Conversely, if another student struggles, the next question is easier. The benefits are clear. It keeps students in the challenge zone, reduces test anxiety, and provides a truer picture of their capabilities. Adaptive testing is used in standardized tests like the GRE and school platforms like Map Growth and IXL. AI enables assessment for learning, not just assessment of learning. Let's address the elephant in the room. Can AI grading be unfair or biased? Yes, it can, especially when trained on limited or biased data. There are risks involved. For instance, essays written in regional English may get lower scores. Cultural references might be misunderstood, and minority students could be misjudged. Solutions include human oversight alongside AI scoring, transparent scoring rubrics, and regular audits and updates of AI training data. Fairness isn't just about correct answers. It's about cultural understanding and equity in evaluation. Imagine a system that predicts who might fail in the next term, which student is losing interest, and where a concept needs to be retaught. Predictive analytics combined with AI leads to preventive education. Schools are already using this to flag potential dropouts, provide support plans for at-risk students, and customize learning paths proactively. It's like having an AI co-pilot constantly scanning for turbulence ahead. The future isn't about grading harder, it's about guiding smarter. Let's recap. AI is transforming what we assess and how. Instant grading, smart feedback, and adaptive testing are becoming the new norm. However, bias, over-reliance, and privacy concerns must be handled with care. Here are some do's. Use AI to empower, not replace teachers. Provide human oversight to AI assessments. Focus on formative growth, not just final scores. And the don'ts. Don't use AI as a black box. Know how it works. Don't depend solely on AI for creative evaluations. Don't forget the emotional side of learning. Here's a call to action. Start small. Use a formative quiz tool with AI feedback in your next class. Track the difference and share your insights. Next week, AI for teachers. Reduce admin work and design better lessons. Until then, teach smarter, assess deeper, and trust tech, but verify with heart.
Hey there, Crash Course fans. Welcome back to another exciting episode where we explore the fascinating intersections of education and technology. Today, we're diving into the exciting world of education, specifically how we test what we know. Testing has always been a cornerstone of education, a way to measure what students have learned and how well they can apply that knowledge. For decades, the image of a school test has been pretty much the same: rows of desks, stacks of paper, and a whole lot of number 2 pencils. This traditional method has been the standard for generations, and while it has its merits, it also comes with a fair share of limitations. But hold on to your scantrons, because things are about to change faster than you can say multiple choice. The world of education is on the brink of a revolution, and it's being driven by technology. We're talking about the rise of artificial intelligence in assessments, and trust me, it's a game changer. AI is not just a buzzword, it's transforming how we approach testing and learning in profound ways. Imagine a world where tests adapt to how you learn best. Instead of a one-size-fits-all approach, AI can tailor questions to your individual learning style and pace, making the assessment process more personalized and effective. Imagine getting instant feedback on your work, not weeks later when you've already forgotten what you were even stressed about. This immediate response can help students understand their mistakes in real time and learn from them more effectively. That's the promise of AI in education, and it's already happening. Schools around the world are beginning to integrate AI technologies into their curriculums, offering a glimpse into the future of learning. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's take a quick trip back in time to see where it all began and why this shift to AI is kind of a big deal. Understanding the history of educational assessments can give us valuable insights into why these new technologies are so revolutionary. In the early days of formal education, assessments were rudimentary and often oral. Teachers would ask questions, and students would respond on the spot. This method was highly subjective and varied greatly from one teacher to another. As education systems became more standardized, written exams became the norm. These tests were designed to be more objective, providing a uniform way to measure student performance. However, they also introduced new challenges, such as test anxiety and the limitations of a one-size-fits-all approach. Fast forward to today, and we see a diverse range of students with different learning needs and styles. The traditional methods of assessment are struggling to keep up with this diversity. This is where AI comes in, offering a more flexible and responsive way to evaluate student learning. AI algorithms can analyze vast amounts of data to identify patterns and trends in student performance. This allows for more accurate and personalized assessments, helping educators to better understand and support each student's unique learning journey. The potential of AI in education is immense, from virtual reality experiences that make learning more immersive to interactive games that make it more engaging. The future of education is not just about passing exams, it's about creating a more holistic and enriching learning experience. As we move forward, let's embrace the possibilities that AI brings to education. It's not just about replacing the joining us on this journey through the evolving landscape of educational assessments. Stay curious, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next episode of Crash Course. Okay, let's be real. Remember those standardized tests? The ones that felt more like endurance trials than actual measures of your knowledge? Yeah, those. Traditional assessments, often relying on pen and paper exams, have been the go-to method for evaluating students for ages. But let's be honest, they have some serious drawbacks. First off, grading is subjective. A teacher in a good mood might be a bit more lenient than one who's had a rough day. Plus, those red pen marks all over your essay. They take time to appear. Feedback often arrives long after you've turned in the assignment, making it way less effective. And what about the content? Traditional tests often focus on rote memorization. It's all about cramming facts and figures, not necessarily about understanding or applying what you've learned. It's like trying to learn about the Amazon rainforest by memorizing the names of all the trees, instead of, actually experiencing its diversity and complexity. Don't get me wrong, traditional tests have their place, but in a world increasingly driven by technology and the need for adaptable skills, it's time for an upgrade. Let's dive deeper into the issues. Traditional testing methods often fail to capture the full spectrum of a student's abilities. They tend to focus on a narrow range of skills, primarily those that can be easily measured by multiple-choice questions or short written responses. This leaves out critical skills like creativity, problem-solving, and critical thinking. Moreover, the pressure to perform well on these tests can lead to high levels of stress and anxiety among students. This stress can be counterproductive, affecting their overall well-being and even their performance on the test itself. It's a vicious cycle. And let's not forget the issue of equity. Not all students have the same resources or support systems to prepare for these tests. This can create a significant gap in performance between students from different backgrounds, perpetuating inequality in the education system. Another point to consider is the impact on teaching. When the focus is on standardized testing, teachers may feel pressured to teach to the test, limiting their ability to explore more engaging and meaningful learning experiences. This can stifle both teacher creativity and student engagement. So what's the alternative? How can we create a more effective and equitable assessment system? One approach is to incorporate more formative assessments, which provide ongoing feedback and allow students to reflect on their learning process. This can help them develop a deeper understanding of the material and improve over time. Another strategy is to use project-based assessments, where students apply their knowledge to real-world problems. This not only makes learning more relevant and engaging, but also helps students develop a broader range of skills. Technology can also play a significant role in modernizing assessments. Digital tools can provide instant feedback, track student progress over time, and offer personalized learning experiences. This can make assessments more efficient and tailored to individual student needs. In conclusion, while traditional tests have been a staple in education for a long time, it's clear that they have significant limitations. By exploring alternative assessment methods and leveraging technology, we can create a more effective, equitable, and engaging learning environment for all students. The future of education depends on our ability to adapt and innovate. Let's embrace the change and work towards a system that truly reflects the diverse talents and potential of every student. After all, education is not just about passing tests, it's about preparing students for life. And that requires a more holistic approach to assessment. Enter artificial intelligence, the tech that's revolutionizing everything from how we shop to how we drive. It's a game changer in every sense of the word, and now it's making its way into our classrooms. Now it's set to transform how we learn and how we measure what we know. Imagine a world where assessments are not just a measure of what you remember, but a tool to enhance your learning experience. AI-powered assessments offer a whole new way to evaluate student understanding that's more efficient, objective, and, dare I say, even a little bit fun. These assessments can adapt in real time, providing instant feedback and personalized learning paths. One of the coolest things about AI assessments is instant grading. No more waiting for days or even weeks to find out how you did. The moment you hit submit, your results are ready. Imagine finishing a test and getting your results immediately, along with personalized feedback. This instant feedback can help you understand your mistakes right away, making it easier to learn and improve. No more nail-biting waiting or wondering where you went wrong. Instant grading takes the anxiety out of the equation, allowing students to focus on learning rather than just the results. But it's not just about speed. The accuracy and objectivity of AI assessments are unparalleled. Traditional grading can sometimes be subjective, influenced by a teacher's perceptions or biases. AI allows for more objective grading, minimizing human bias and ensuring fairness. Every student is evaluated on the same criteria, making the process more transparent and equitable. Plus, these assessments can be scaled to reach a vast number of students, making them incredibly efficient for large-scale testing. Whether it's a classroom of 20 or a hall of 200, AI can handle it all seamlessly. But here's where things get really interesting. AI doesn't just stop at grading, it can also personalize the learning experience. AI can create personalized testing paths, adjusting the difficulty and type of questions based on a student's individual performance. This means that the test evolves as you take it, adapting to your strengths and weaknesses. This means no more one-size-fits-all tests. Each assessment is tailored to the student's unique learning needs, making the process more engaging and effective. Instead, each student gets an assessment tailored to their unique learning needs. This personalized approach not only helps in better understanding, but also keeps students motivated and invested in their learning journey. The future of education is here, and it's powered by AI. With its ability to provide instant, objective, and personalized assessments, AI is set to revolutionize the way we learn and grow. So are you ready to embrace the future of learning? Let's take a look at a real-world example to see how this works. Imagine a student named Sarah who's struggling with algebra. In a traditional classroom, she might feel lost and fall behind. But with AI-powered assessments, the software can identify her weak areas and adjust the questions accordingly. If Sarah's having trouble with equations, the AI can provide her with more practice problems and even offer hints or explanations tailored to her specific learning style. As she progresses, the AI can gradually increase the difficulty, ensuring she's consistently challenged but not overwhelmed. This kind of personalized learning experience is a game changer. Hey everyone, Sal here. Welcome to this deep dive into how artificial intelligence, or AI for short, is transforming the way we think about assessments in education. We're at a really exciting point where technology can personalize learning like never before, and a big part of that is how AI can help us understand what students know and how they learn best. First, we'll look at adaptive testing, which is kind of like having a test that adjusts to each student's level in real time. Then we'll tackle the really important issue of bias in AI scoring, because fairness is absolutely critical if we're going to use these tools effectively. Finally, we'll look ahead to the future of what's possible with predictive assessments, and how AI can help us not just measure learning, but actually support and guide students more effectively. Let's start with adaptive testing. Traditional tests are a one-size-fits-all approach. Everyone gets the same questions regardless of their understanding. But with adaptive testing, the test changes based on how the student is doing. Imagine a student is whizzing through a math quiz, getting every question right. An adaptive test would recognize this and start giving them slightly harder questions, keeping them engaged and challenged. On the other hand, if a student is struggling, the test might adjust and give them slightly easier questions to build their confidence and understanding. This approach has some really big benefits. It helps keep students in that sweet spot we call the challenge zone, where they're neither bored nor overwhelmed. This can be a game changer for motivation and engagement. Adaptive testing can actually reduce test anxiety, which we all know can really impact a student's performance. When students know the test is adjusting to them, it takes some of the pressure off. Adaptive testing gives us a much truer picture of a student's actual capabilities. It's not just about how many questions they got right or wrong, but how they progressed and what kind of support they might need. Standardized tests like the GRE and GMAT have been using it for a while now. AI is making adaptive testing more accessible and powerful than ever before. These platforms use AI to analyze student performance in real time and adjust the difficulty of questions, provide personalized feedback, and even suggest additional practice activities. Now, while AI has the potential to make assessments more personalized and effective, we also have to be really careful about the potential for bias. AI systems are only as good as the data they're trained on. Can AI grading be unfair or biased? Unfortunately, yes, especially if the AI has been trained on data that is itself limited or biased. If an AI is trained to grade essays, and the majority of essays it's seen as good are written in a very formal academic style, it might unfairly penalize students who write in a more conversational or regional dialect. Or imagine an AI grading a history test that doesn't fully understand the nuances of different cultural perspectives. It might misinterpret a student's answer that draws on their own cultural background as being incorrect, when in fact it demonstrates a valid and valuable understanding of the material. We also have to be mindful of the risk that AI systems might perpetuate existing inequalities. If an AI is trained on data that already reflects existing achievement gaps between different student groups, it could end up reinforcing those gaps rather than helping to close them. We need to make sure that human oversight is built into any AI-powered assessment system. Teachers and educators need to be involved in the process of reviewing and validating the scores and feedback generated by AI to ensure that they are fair and accurate. Schools and companies developing these tools should be open about the data they use to train their AI, the algorithms they use to generate scores, and the steps they're taking to mitigate bias. We need to be constantly auditing and updating these AI systems. Fairness isn't just about getting the correct answer. It's about creating an assessment system that is equitable and inclusive, and that gives every student a fair chance to demonstrate their knowledge and skills. Now let's look ahead to the future. Imagine a system that doesn't just assess what students have already learned, but can actually predict which students might be at risk of falling behind in the future. That's the promise of predictive analytics, and it has the potential to be a real game changer in education. Think about it. What if we could use data to identify students who might be on the verge of failing a class, disengaging from school, or struggling with a particular concept? What if we could catch these warning signs early on before they escalate into bigger problems? Well, with AI, this is becoming increasingly possible. By analyzing data on student attendance, grades, homework completion, and even their online learning activity, AI algorithms can start to identify patterns that might indicate a student is struggling. Schools are already starting to use predictive analytics to identify students who might be at risk of dropping out and to provide them with targeted support, like mentoring programs, tutoring, or counseling. We're also seeing schools use predictive analytics to personalize learning paths for individual students. By analyzing a student's strengths, weaknesses, and learning style, AI can help teachers create customized learning plans that are tailored to each student's needs. It doesn't mean we'll always be able to avoid every bump in the road, but it does give us a better chance of navigating challenges effectively and helping all students succeed. The future of education isn't about grading harder, it's about guiding smarter. And with the help of AI, I think we have the potential to create an education system that is more personalized, more supportive, and more equitable than ever before. So, let's recap what we've covered today. We've talked about how AI is transforming the way we assess learning, from adaptive testing that meets students where they are, to the potential of predictive analytics to identify students who might need extra support. We've also talked about the importance of addressing bias in AI scoring and making sure that these powerful tools are used fairly and equitably. We can't just assume that technology is inherently neutral. We have to be very intentional about building fairness into these systems from the ground up. Now, I want to leave you with a few key takeaways, some do's and don'ts, as you start to navigate the world of AI in education. First, the do's: use AI to empower teachers, not replace them. Technology should be a tool that enhances and supports the incredible work that teachers do, not something that tries to automate them out of a job. Do provide human oversight for any AI-powered assessment system. We need to make sure that a real person is in the loop, reviewing scores, providing context, and making sure that the technology is being used fairly and effectively. And finally, do focus on formative growth, not just final scores. AI can help us understand how students are progressing throughout the learning process, not just at the very end. Let's use that information to provide feedback, support, and encouragement along the way. Now, for the don'ts. Don't treat AI as a black box. We need to understand how these systems work, what data they're trained on, and what their limitations are. Don't depend solely on AI for creative or subjective evaluations. There are some things that machines just aren't good at yet, and that's okay. Let's use human judgment and expertise where it's needed most. And finally, don't forget the human element of learning. Education is about so much more than just test scores and data points. It's about fostering curiosity, creativity, critical thinking, and a love of learning. Let's make sure that technology serves those goals, not the other way around. Start small. Maybe try using a formative quiz tool with AI-powered feedback in your next class. See how it goes, track the difference it makes, and share your insights with your colleagues. So, that's a glimpse into the exciting world of AI in educational assessments. I hope you found this helpful and maybe even a little bit inspiring. Remember, like any tool, AI has its strengths and limitations. If you'd like to dive deeper into any of the topics we covered today, check out the links in the description below. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep learning, and keep believing in the power of education to change the world.